Fallout 76's survival mode, and why it failed. Fallout 76's survival mode was introduced on March 26th of 2019 as part of the Wild Appalachia expansion to the game, and it was then removed on October 1st of that same year. Now, why was it removed so quickly? Well, the lead writer of Fallout 76 had this to say. We acknowledged there was a very hardcore dedicated group of survival mode enthusiasts, but keeping that mode open incurred a real testing cost, so we wanted to focus where people play. Adventure mode and nuclear winter. Focus where people play is the key point to his comment. Survival mode was dead well before it was removed in October. It died pretty much a month after its release, maybe 2 months. The hardcore survival players will say it was popular, but it really wasn't. For example, here's a screenshot from a video I took back in April where it's literally just me and another guy on a server. So why did it fail so badly? Well, I know the reasons why, and we will go over them. So, what was Fallout 76's survival mode? Well, like it sounds, it was a more survival-focused version of the game than the standard adventure servers. It had many rule changes to make it more similar to other games like DayZ, Miscreated, or Rust. For example, any player could attack and deal damage to anyone. You see somebody else on the map? Go and try and kill them. There was unlimited PvP. Unlike adventure mode, where you have to basically sign a duel system, where both players have to attack each other first, and then PvP starts. When players died in survival mode, they would lose a lot more than just junk. They would also drop aid items, and if you died to another player, you lost a lot more caps in survival mode than in adventure mode. Well, not as extreme as other survival games where you lose everything, losing valuable stimpaks and aid items at the time, as well as a lot more caps, was really harsh back in those days, as caps and aid items were kind of hard to acquire back in 2019 compared to now, where they're just given out like candy. Survival mode also limited the fast travel of the game. You could only fast travel to your camp, train stations, and Vault 76. One of the most interesting features of the survival mode was the scoreboard. The scoreboard showed the top 3 players on the server. At first, the scoreboard showed who had been alive the longest. Then this was eventually switched to who has killed the most players. The top 3 players of the scoreboard appeared as big prize markers on the map. Only the top 3 players would appear as icons on the map. Everyone else was hidden except if you were wanted. Now we know the changes to the rules of these servers. Why didn't it catch on? Well, the first thing is Fallout 76's community. Fallout 76 is weird, where despite the devs trying to get players to kill each other and play as raiders going around wrecking each other's camps, the player base ended up being extremely friendly to one another and just wanted to help each other out. This actually shocked the developers of the game on how little players were willing to kill each other. In 2019, the devs were very focused on trying to get players to kill each other. They nerfed several of the PvE farming zones like White Springs and Watoga. White Springs used to be the best farming spot in the game, and you would just see the community nuke the White Springs and sit outside all joining together to fight ghouls. Eventually, the ghouls were made so they're much less aggressive and they don't all come out in a big swarm, allowing you to farm them easily. And Watoga had the hardest nerf of all, where they just removed all the legendary creatures from Watoga. Watoga robots are no longer able to spawn as legendaries. Now, this isn't to say that nobody playing Fallout 76 likes PvP. There are those players, and they're definitely out there, but they are the minority of the player base. The second reason why survival mode failed is because PvP in Fallout 76 is terrible. It might be the worst PvP in a game I have ever played. Now, low-level PvP is generally fine until you get some people who have low-level twinks, but that's a different story. It's the high-level PvP that is kind of just garbage. High-level PvP in Fallout 76 pretty much consists of staying off the ground, jumping as much as you can with the marsupial mutation, while shooting an area of effect weapon like a Tesla rifle, auto grenade launcher, or legacy explosive energy gun in the general direction of the enemy player while both of you are cloaked with stealth boys and spamming health items like Nuka-Cola Quantums. I forgot to mention that there's also a damage cap on how much your single shots can do to another player, so it made weapons that you think would be really good in PvP, like the Fat Man, or the dragon, or any other huge single shot weapon, useless, as you can only deal, I think, around 190 damage in one hit to a player. So unless they have less than 190 health, you're not one-shotting anybody with these. You also had the Assassin Sentinel armor. This is a combination of prefixes on an armor that made you basically invincible in PvP. It's actually one of the few times Bethesda has directly nerfed legendary effects. The other obviously being two-shot explosive. So yeah, saying Fallout 76's PvP is bad is a definite understatement. Now, why would you go play a mode where you have to participate in terrible PvP when you could just not do that and play adventure? And that's what most players did. They just didn't play survival mode because PvP is awful. Also, because you lost more caps and your junk and aid items in survival mode, most players learn that, oh wait, I just won't carry any of those things and then go into survival mode. So even if a player kills you, they don't get anything out of it. Or, what some people ended up doing was just carrying bags of fertilizer and spoiled food. So, yeah, they got literal feces for killing you. What I found out, if you want to actually go somewhere in survival mode, like let's say you wanted to go to another spot on the map, and you didn't want to die in PvP or risk PvP at all, what I found out is you just go back into adventure mode, fast travel your character up where you wanted to go, get out of adventure mode, go back into survival mode, and there you're there. Completely avoiding most of the problems of survival mode by just using adventure mode. The third problem of why Fallout 76's survival mode failed is just Fallout 76 in general. Fallout 76 in 2019 was a glitchy, laggy, crash-happy mess of a game. It took about until mid-2020 for it not to be that. Now don't get me wrong, it's still a glitchy, laggy, crash-happy mess of a game, but not as bad as it was in 2019. One of the only reasons that people still even went into survival mode was to try and get the survival reward weapon. I can remember one of the weapons required you to complete events while in survival mode. There was about 10 of us going around from event to event, and no one even tried to kill each other. It was just a mutual agreement, hey, let's get these events done, get the weapon, and get out of this game mode. The other reason was, because the servers were dead, they didn't lag as badly as adventure mode servers. This, strangely enough, allowed the hardcore PvE players a better chance at completing the vault raids than in adventure mode servers. You see, the vault raids barely worked on adventure mode servers. I remember trying to start them with my friend, and we both just crashed multiple times, or another time the vault door didn't even open. But when you went to survival mode, they just kind of worked. The vault raids just worked in the PvP game mode, so you had people just going in there to do the vault raids. Sadly, the vault raids were removed with the Wastelanders expansion, with the Vault 94 location being repurposed into daily ops. So yeah, those were the reasons why Fallout 76's survival mode failed, and was removed in less than a year. An overly friendly community, bad PvP, and just a broken mess of a game. With the survival reward weapons now being added to the daily ops loot pool, I think we can say that survival mode most likely will not return in an official capacity anytime soon. It might return as a setting for private servers. Alright, if you disagreed with anything I said in this video, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. I know some people were very adamant about survival mode, but like I said, just leave your opinion down in the comment section if you think I was right or wrong. Alright, bye.